What's up, Zoners? This is Tyler, Big Third Ward, and Jason, the lucky bastard Youth-and-Wolt, coming to you live from the West Coast. And this is the Fantasy Red Zone, man. Today, we've got players that we think that you should buy, hold, and sell, man. So overperformers, underperformers, players that we don't know what to do with, man. Okay? Brian Thomas Jr. was on that list, hold list last week. He's off. He's selling. Get rid of his ass. All right, Jason. I've seen enough. That's all I put underneath Brian Thomas Jr.'s name. I've seen enough. So anyways, we've got that today. We've got a lot of news to go over. First, Jason, before we get into anything, we need help. The public needs to help this show, or we're just going to be laying in the streets dead, man, with chalk around our bodies. Jason, please tell the public how they can help this show.
Oh man, I was thinking that Notorious B.I.G. song, like on my knees saying prayers to the street.
That's how I feel sometimes. But it's raining.
Yeah. If you guys are enjoying this type of videos, this information, then please smash the like, hit the subscribe, make sure you press the alert button so you can see all of our future content come out, get the notification. We're also on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, so if you follow us on those platforms, it pushes us out. We need to get pushed out. Push us out. Push us out. It's been 9 months. Push us out.
It's been 4 years, man.
Yeah, back to you, Tyler.
All right, real quick, the news. I was going to say the news and the brews. I got no brews. Jason, Mike Evans suffered a low-grade hamstring injury and will undergo an MRI. So Emeka, we're just like, hey, man, we got Chris Godwin lurking in the showers, in shadows. But hey, dude, I think Emeka Egbuka is probably going to be a thing all year. This wide receiver group is old and tired and getting injured. Mike Evans was just hinting at retiring after the season, and now he suffered a hamstring injury, Jason. I don't like any of this. Emeka Egbuka, you better hold him. Don't trade him away.
Yeah, he's 32 years old. 32 years old, man. He had the hamstring issue last year, too, that put him out for like 3 or 4 games. But, dude, it's just crazy how the path has been opening up for Emeka Egbuka on this team, man.
Yeah, I know. So, and then, all right, next up, Najee out for the season with his Achilles. Terrible, Jason. He was actually looking like the better runner for a minute, but it opened things up for Omarion Hampton. Apparently, he was just under pressure from Najee Harris because as soon as Najee Harris left, he looked amazing. But yeah, so Najee out for the season. It would not be surprising if he's done forever. Sorry, Najee Harris.
Yeah, that dude's like never missed a game in his career and now he's going to miss a season.
Yeah, I think he led the league in broken tackles last year or something like that. He had some amazing efficiency last season. Jason, CeeDee Lamb, ankle sprain, out 2 to 4 weeks. I was going against Jake Ferguson, dude. The fantasy gods are against me this year. It's insane. So I say that I still have a chance to win. Come on, David, or come on, Jahmyr Gibbs. Anyways, so yeah, CeeDee Lamb, Jason, out 2 to 4 weeks. Are you trying to target him, trade him away? He's a hold for me. Hold it.
Yeah, I mean, if you can get him during this time, go ahead and do it, please, because the dude was
if you're 2-1 or better, go get him.
Yeah, and I mean, this just sucks with Dak Prescott because after he left, the dude looked awful after he left. So he's going to get downgraded until he returns.
And then, hey, Nick Bosa out with a torn ACL. So 49ers defense, Jason, I picked him up before the season started. They have not looked great. And this is a huge blow. So, man, not a lot of great defenses this year. I think I'm going to be streaming defenses for the most part this season, Jason.
Yeah, my dad actually sent me this text about him being out for the year with the ACL injury. And I sent the little emoji with the guy doing this.
Like you can see,
this is Nick Bosa's thing.
I know. How do you feel, Nick? I have no feelings. All right, dude. Let's get into the buy, the sell. To me, the sell is more interesting this week, Jason. So we're starting it off hot, maybe a little controversial. Okay. So first up, Ashton Jeanty. I almost had him as a buy. All right. Then I started looking at the stats. Okay. I've been forced to watch a lot of Raiders games. And I'm like, hey, man, whenever he gets a lane, it looks good. And then I had to watch all that pass protection shit from last week. Those compilation videos. I think I might have sent you one. I would have literally done a better job pass blocking. He was not doing anything, man. I think he put his hand out once to maybe touch somebody, but he was just walking around lost. So I didn't like that. Anyways, man, 6 fantasy points this week, Jason. He was hit at or behind the line of scrimmage on 11 of his 17 rushes versus Washington. He has been hit at or behind the line of scrimmage on 57%, 27 of 47 rushing attempts this season. He has 144 total rushing yards, Jason. He has 145 rushing yards after contact. Las Vegas, Jason, 32nd in run block win rate. And they're like, hey, man, at least he catches a lot of balls, right? He had a 7% target share heading into week 3. That's terrible. He had 0 targets week 3, so that even went down below 7. He's got Chicago next week, and they're giving up the 5th most fantasy points to running backs. So, I mean, dude, Chicago's in such... I mean, they looked a lot better this week, but that defense sucks. Javonte Williams was averaging like 10 yards a carry for a minute there. So, yeah, Jason, I look for him to have a good week. But overall, I would sell his ass. This offensive line, we had big question marks about it to begin with. The people in Las Vegas did not like the center. That's like the worst center in the league right now. So, yeah, dude, I hate selling Ashton Jeanty, but I think you got to do it because of the offensive line.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good stat that you put about his yards before contact because that's crazy. I didn't see the highlights for this week, but I've seen like the other 2 games, and it seems like he is always like 1 tackle away from breaking off a long run. But the problem is his breaking tackles start 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage. You know what I mean? So it sucks, dude. It's right now it's wasted talent. That offensive line is like straight up garbage. And I think I saw that his it's a discouraging snap rate of only like 60% this past week. So that's not good.
And then how do you think Adrian Peterson would do on this team, Jason? Do you think he would still succeed?
Adrian Peterson will just get like 1 yard, 1 yard, 1 yard, 80-yard touchdown. 1 yard, 1 yard, 1 yard.
And that's literally how I thought Ashton Jeanty was going to be. I thought it was going to be like Barry Sanders, getting stuff, 70-yard touchdown. But, dude, I'm watching these games, and it's like he does not have, I don't know, the side-to-side quickness I thought he had. He's just running straight into fools trying to truck him, and he gets past one, but then he gets tackled. All right. Well, next up, Jason, Jamar Chase. I actually had him as a buy because I was all about Jake Browning being a top four quarterback in like over 5 weeks when he was filling in before. Well, Jamar Chase only had 8 fantasy points, Jason, and then I started doing the heavy research of how he did with Browning last season. Only 6 targets, which still led the team, and he had a 23.1% target share coming off of a 37% target share week 2, so week 2 was his boom week, like 37 points. So he still had a 23% target share. That's okay. 50 reception yards or fewer in 2 of his 3 games played this season, so Jamar Chase owners, man, except for that 1 week, are probably looking to get rid of him. Only 1 weekly finish. Okay, so this is with Browning in 2023, right? Only 1 weekly finish of wide receiver 32 or better. Wide receiver 32 or better. He was wide receiver 6 once, so he had 1 awesome week. The rest, he was outside of, he wasn't even a flex option for the most part. In Browning's 7 starts at the end of 2023, that's with Browning being a quarterback 7. I think they won like 5 of 7 of those games or 4 of 7 of those games. So, Jason, he does not hyper focus on Jamar Chase. He did not go to college with Jamar Chase, like Joe Burrow. I think that happened, yeah. And he's at Denver versus Surtain next week. I know Surtain has not been playing the best this year, but he's still one of the best cornerbacks in the league. So I do not see this getting better at all next week, Jason. If I could just unload Chase with that 39-point game and within, when you click on his name and it's there still, I would get rid of Jamar Chase. Again, man, I was in a trade for him. I saw the stats of him with Browning 2 years ago. I'm out.
Yeah, I think that year he still ended up like in the top 12. I think he was actually wide receiver 12, but I mean, you got this guy drafted number 1 overall. It is crazy the difference between Joe Burrow and Jake Browning when they're on the field when it comes to Jamar Chase. You're hoping that this guy's going to get some screen passes because the deep passes are not going to quite be there. They looked bad against that Minnesota defense. They got smoked on, dude.
Bad. Yeah. And then next up, Jason, on the same team real quick, Chase Brown, 5 fantasy points, dude. So this guy is 10th in running back carries, 47. We thought he was going to touch the ball. We thought he was going to be like top 3 in touches. And now he's, top 10 carries still. That's not bad. Well, he's 34th in rushing yards with 93. So he's got 47 rushing attempts for 93 rushing yards, dude. That is 2.0 yards per carry, people. All right. Cincinnati is 25th in run block win rate. And then look at this schedule coming up at Denver, Detroit, Green Bay, Pittsburgh, the Jets. The next 5 weeks, dude, are defensive teams. Chase Brown, probably unstartable for 5 weeks, dude. If you can get rid of him right now, I would.
Yeah, the Bengals offensive line is just trash. Like, I thought they were going to get some sort of an upgrade this year, but they didn't. And when it comes to team rushing yards before contact per attempt, they are bottom last, at the bottom of the barrel at 0.43 yards before contact. That is last. That is behind the New York Giants, who are 0.66. So when you can't create lanes for Chase Brown, like, I think it was like the first week I saw he had like some crazy stat. It was like 21 carries for 42 yards. Like, you love the 21 carries. Like, when you get 21 carries, you're expecting these 80, 90, 100 yards. The dude had 42. And it's not improving.
He can't even get 100 yards on 47 carries, Jason.
True, yeah.
It was like, that's insanity. When I saw that, I was like, what the hell's going on around here?
And now, Tyler, I'm sure defenses are not afraid of that quarterback in the background, and they're just stacking that box.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that, something else a little bit later. Oh, I thought I put this in. Next up, real quick. I think this is gonna be controversial, Jason. I have Ricky Pearsall, right? He had 20 fantasy points. So
Woo!
I've been watching all these games because where I live, I get it for free. I get all this, I get the Niner games and the Las Vegas games. And dude, it is so frustrating watching Ricky Pearsall play football right now. So 21% target share with a really injured Juwan Jennings. Like, Juwan Jennings barely played week 1. He had a 21% target share. When Juwan Jennings was actually playing a lot, that went down to 16%, Jason, and it was a terrible week 2. Then without Juwan Jennings in general, that shot up to 29%, an amazing week, 20 fantasy points. But it's all about Juwan Jennings' shoulder injury. So if Juwan Jennings plays even 60, 70% of snaps, it really, really hurts Ricky Pearsall, man. He just automatically becomes like a flex option. So Juwan had a shoulder injury from week 1 and an ankle injury that kept him out from week 2. Now he's day to day. So they do go against Jacksonville, who's giving up the 7th most fantasy points to wide receivers right now. Then they have the Rams, that's bad, and then Tampa Bay, who's pretty good, is an okay matchup. So I think that I would try to I'm going to package Ricky Pearsall and try to trade up. I still would rather have Ricky Pearsall than Jamar Chase right now, which is pretty crazy. But again, I'm going to go through my options and try to package him and trade up 2 for 1, get rid of Ricky Pearsall, and assume that Juwan Jennings is going to be healthier as the season goes on.
Yeah, this one could be kind of crazy. Have you ever thought about holding on to him because of how injury prone Juwan Jennings looks?
And that's because I was going back and forth, but I was like, as a Ricky Pearsall owner, I'm getting rid of him, man. And I've had to watch these games. Like, it is insane how much they go to Juwan Jennings when it really matters. And they were spreading the ball around anyways. It was pissing me off how many times they hit the second tight end.
So when he's not playing with Juwan Jennings in the first 3 weeks, he's averaging 93.7 receiving yards. That's 4th among wide receivers and tight ends. 2.60 yards per route run. That's 5th. And 17.3 expected fantasy points per game. That is 8th. He is just a 22% target share route run rate. But that was with the deep 6.3 yard A dot. So I'm almost, man, it's like, do we want to play the game where it's like you hold on to him just in case those games that Juwan Jennings is not playing? It's like, is that the type of fantasy football game that we want to play?
Say that Amon-Ra St. Brown. I haven't checked again because I'm going against him. I don't want to see it, but it looks like he's getting game plan out of this game. Let's just say you could package Ricky Pearsall with some other running back and get like an upper tier wide receiver, not Jamar Chase. I would do that. That's like what I'm saying. Like, I think that it has to be the right trade. You have to trade up.
Yeah. Just upgrade the position.
Yeah. Because I'm not banking on Ricky Pearsall getting this target share all the time, man. It's going to be around. I bet you it's going to be 16% for the last half of the season, if I had to guess. All right, Jason. Here's your man right here. Your favorite player in the world, Rhamondre Stevenson. Only had 3 fantasy points. You were texting me, and because I said this guy needs for Trayvon Henderson to get any touches, he's gonna have to leave injured. Jason, he didn't even need to do that. So let us know about Rhamondre Stevenson.
Yeah, dude, it's just a Mike Vrabel running back lost 2 fumbles versus the Steelers, and Stevenson lost his second fumble on the 1 yard line. After his second fumble, Antonio Gibson fumbles. There's a fumble for you, fumble for you, fumble for you. Everybody gets a fumble except Henderson, because he is known for not losing fumbles in college. Eventually, he outsnapped Stevenson 34-27, and Gibson only had 19 snaps. Henderson led with 11 rushing attempts, while Stevenson produced minus 2.2 rushing fantasy points out of 4 rushes on 35% snap share. He was efficient, though, with over 4 yards per carry, but the fumbles, man, that's something that he has struggled with his entire career. Henderson was the only running back in the fourth quarter to receive a carry, and in the second half, he handled 9 out of the 12 backfield carries, which is 75% and a 12.5% target share. This was a big letdown because the Steelers are giving up the second most rushing yards heading into week 3. Next week, they face the Panthers, and if Stevenson is in the doghouse, Henderson could get more playing time and show off his skills against the Panthers. I think I have I just might put Henderson might be taking the number 1 role sooner rather than later, and that's why I'm thinking this guy, Stevenson, is a sell.
I got suspended once, Jason, in school suspension for pantsing somebody. The Carolina Panthers, Jason's favorite team.
The Prancers.
Hey, man, Travion Henderson did not ever fumble in college, and Mike Vrabel's a defensive head coach, so he hates this. Again, I do not care about Travion Henderson getting all the carries. He just needs to get all the receiving yards. If you've noticed, Jason, they've been throwing to the running backs a ton this year. That's Josh McDaniels.
Oh, yeah.
James White was a running back 7 overall one year with like 90-something targets. So let's just get Travion Henderson on that route, and it will come back. But yeah, Rhamondre Stevenson is probably seeing his most workload he's ever going to see on this team. So his better days are not ahead. Then, all right, Jason. Calvin Ridley, only 3 fantasy points. We were pushing him hard this offseason. The Titans are so much worse than I thought they were going to be. And I thought the Colts defense was not that great. I didn't start paying attention to the Colts defense. But yeah, dude. So the only set I have, Jason, is Alec Amanor. I think it's on my waiver wire show. I said it sounds like a Star Wars name. PPR points this season 32.7. Calvin Ridley at 19.1. So he's about to double Calvin Ridley's fantasy points. So Jason, what's up with Calvin Ridley?
Yeah, dude, this was his last hoorah, man. I was like, I have to start this guy this week because it gets the Colts. But the offensive line for the Titans, they look like shit, dude. And Ward is getting pressured like every drop back, but not sure if it's getting pressured is the problem. His clean pocket passer rating is ranked 28th at 74.5. That is not good. Then Ridley was tied with second with 4 drops entering week 3. Well, then he goes and matches that number versus the Colts. He had like 4 drops in that game. This was Ridley's best matchup of the year, and he produced only 3 points. So Ridley's catchable target rate has been outside ranked 85th for the past 2 seasons. Right now, he has the 8th best target rate of 85%. And he's averaging 7 targets a game, but hasn't produced over 10 points. So that's very discouraging. Calvin Ridley right now, entering week 3, his target share was 23%. First 3 target share was 26%. Targets per route run, 0.22. Yards per game, 42. And yards per route run is 1.33. What's that other tight or wide receiver? Alec? I was saying like Ayo Manor. Ayo Manor. His target share entering week 3 is 21.3%. First 3 target share, 26.8%. Target per route run, 0.27. Yards per route run, or yards per game, 34, and yards per route run is 1.44. It's almost like the same goddamn player. Who's the wide receiver 1? Dude, and Alec is the one getting the touchdowns. So I would trade away Ridley and grab Ayo Manor, same player, but cheaper, and he gets the touchdowns. I think you're on mute.
I stopped sharing instead of pressing unmute. Man, my dogs are going ape shit right now. Stop it.
I can hear him.
Can you hear him?
Yep.
It's insanity, Jason. I don't know what to do. Anyways, okay. We're back on here. But yeah, dude, Calvin Ridley, I'm out on. And yeah, what the Titans fans say is they need a new head coach already. So.
Oh, yeah. Dude. Callahan, get the F out.
Well, he was supposed to be good at offensive line, and this shit ain't happening already, dude. And then real quick, I just have some more. Kyren Williams, 18 fantasy points. His running back rushing share rates by week 1, 95%, week 2, 77, and and then 71, dude. And Blake Corum is coming, dude. He's a 3rd-round draft pick, high draft capital, and his efficiency's been nuts. So that's something to watch, Jason. If you can get rid of Kyren Williams after this week, I still think that he's going to be surprising people and be used more than we like. But I don't know what's going to happen with Blake Corum this season.
Yeah, dude, I was ready to trade this guy last week.
Dude, and I mean, the first half of this game, I had Blake Corum at the top of my waiver wire list, $100. But then Kyren Williams came through. So kind of a weird one. Maybe hold, pay attention to something like that. But I wouldn't mind selling Kyren Williams after 18 fantasy points. Jason, T. Higgins, 2 targets for a 7.7% target share. I'm out on T. Higgins, but good luck. You're gonna have to get trade him for Elik Aminor. And then Jason, Stefon Diggs, he had a 55% route participation in week 3. That was at 70% in week 1, 58 in week 2. So I don't know if you have Stefon Diggs or not, but that's going in the wrong direction. If you want to get rid of him, you can. Oh,
yeah, you're
DJ
talking about
Moore.
How, like, nope, go on.
So DJ Moore, Jason, 12 fantasy points. He got that touchdown. He went against a zone-heavy scheme, and things were lining up for him. But now they're spreading the ball around. Would you try to trade away DJ Moore after this week?
Yes.
Then AJ Brown,
Never
Jason,
would have drafted him.
I know, right? AJ Brown went off, dude. Targets, touchdown. Is AJ Brown going to come around and start getting you 20-point games like every 3rd game again, or should you just get rid of him right now?
I mean, every 3rd game do we want 0 points, 1 point, 20
We said
points?
this last year. We said this last year, and he's all reading a book and shit. You know, I mean, it's just like I love having a top 10 fantasy wide receiver. I just don't like how I get there.
When your teammates are making a huge deal that you had a good game, it's time to sell the player.
Yeah, so I'd get rid of him. And then Brian Thomas Jr., Jason, again, 7 fantasy points. I've seen enough. So let's move on to buy, dude. First up, I had this guy as a sell, right? And everybody's talking about selling him. They're like, then I saw the stats. They're like, oh, only a 62% snap share and 44% route participation rate versus Atlanta. It's a season low. Well, dude, that was a blowout, all right? He was getting work, and then Rico Dowdle came in. So we're talking about Chuba Hubbard, only 9 fantasy points. And again, he lost both of his starting guards. We had him as a trade away last week. I thought this was going to be terrible. He had a higher yards per carry, Jason, without those 2 starting linemen at 4.3. So, hey, I think he's going to be just as good. And then you have this game plan where he got taken out of the game pretty much because it was a blowout. And the owners are still like, oh, my God, man, 2 offensive line gone, only 9 fantasy points. Look at the snap share. He's got Miami and Dallas come in 2 of the next 3 games. Amazing matchups, Jason. Chuba Hubbard's going to have 20-plus fantasy points and maybe 2+ games coming up. If you can trade for Chuba Hubbard right now, Jason, I would. I was really scared from his starting lineman. It might come back to bite me in the ass. But as of one game, he was actually more efficient.
I'm too scared of this one. I'm gonna keep my distance.
Miami and Dallas, Jason, over the next 3 games.
Yeah, I mean those are great matchups for him. I don't know if I'm just going to trade somebody for this early in the season for 3 games though. I don't know. I'm a little bit scared of this guy.
All right, is it the offensive lineman?
So offensive line is
the Panthers playing like the worst in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, if they could keep playing like they did last week, that could be something. But also, his only touchdowns have been in the 4th quarter on passing plays, receptions.
Yeah, garbage time touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, he could be the garbage man king for sure.
Hey, oh, yeah. I'd say it's better than him blowing somebody out, apparently, because they take him out of the game for Rico Dowdle. So anyways, a lot of things going out right now were negative Chuba. I saw this, and I actually thought it was positive. So, Jason, next up, Malik Nabers. Only 3 fantasy points. He had 12 targets. Week 1, 13 targets. Week 3, I think he was 3rd in the league in targets. Then he had 7 targets. Only 2 receptions, and that was in the 4th quarter. So if you were watching that game as Malik Nabers' owner, you were so pissed off. And they made a huge deal out of it, dude, on the broadcast. Wide receiver 30 week 1 and wide receiver 87 this week, dude. So only 1 good week. And I'm telling you, man, Jackson Dart is going to be playing soon or then later. But then I looked at his schedule, and that's my one big hang up. So Malik Nabers, though, has had at least 4 receptions in every game he has played. Again, only 2 receptions this last week. So this is the bottom, dude, he's ever going to be in full PPR. That's the way it is. So you're buying low. But then you look at his schedule, Jason, the Chargers, an amazing matchup versus the Saints, then Philadelphia, Denver, Philadelphia, San Francisco, Chicago with Jalen Johnson probably back by that time, and then Green Bay, who's playing amazing too. So, dude, like the next 7 weeks, you got like one good matchup. So Malik Nabers, I'm still trying to buy at the right price, but he's not going to blow up until like the last month of the year, dude.
This is when you're training for somebody and you're just preparing for that fantasy push, because through 3 games, dude, he's already what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's 5th in target share leaders, and he is 2nd in air yardage share leaders at wide receivers through 3 games at 56%. So, I mean, it's happening. It's just not happening the way that we want. Like, there needs to be a better connection between him and his quarterback, but. I mean, the opportunities are there, and there's a lot of opportunities.
And I'm afraid of the schedule, but there might be a lot of garbage time coming up in their future. So,
true.
You know,
True.
He just needs a target. So I would trade for Malik Nabers. Jason, somebody else I would trade for, high end. Brock Bowers, only 9 fantasy points. He had 8 targets and 100 yards in 3 quarters game 1 before his injury. So he injured his knee, like, late 3rd quarter, I think, game 1. Then he's only had 38 reception yards in each of the last 2 games, man. 24% target share that week 1 when he got banged up. I mean, that was with the 4th quarter really, not really catching anything. 18.6% in week 2 and then 18.5% week 3. Bowers finished with a 26% target share last year. So that was like all that terrible with Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell. It was all about his target share, Jason. Now he's not getting it. He's versus Chicago next week. Jake Ferguson just had 1,000 points versus them, so great matchup. But if you could trade, I've been hearing people talking about trading away Brock Bowers, man, like all on the internet. It's like, oh, they're just like, man, the Raiders are terrible. The Raiders are terrible. I don't care, dude. They were terrible last year. So I'm still trying to get Brock Bowers. If I could trade for him, if I go Brian Thomas Jr. for Brock Bowers, I might try to do that, Jason.
And didn't you just tell me that their other tight end broke his neck?
He got Carter. Dude, his neck got compressed. His arms went straight up, and I was like, this guy just died on the field. Everybody was praying for him. And as soon as they got the cart within like 3 feet of him, he popped up. I was just like, this guy really hates carts.
Yeah. When you text me all that, I was so confused. I was like, is he hurt? Did he die? Is he a phoenix? Did he just resurrect? Like, what happened?
Everybody was like this. Everybody took off their helmets, were like this. Like, come on, get him off the field. This is great. Or come on, doctors. I mean, it was like the Tua fence post, the fencing thing, dude. It was terrible.
Oh, damn.
Anyways, Brock Bowers trade for his AS. Jason, Jaylen Warren, I'm going to talk about him again. Only 12 fantasy points again, dude. Only 47 yards on 18 carries. That's god awful. But he had a 27.3% target share. Hey, man. Arthur Smith throwing to running backs and tight ends happens a lot. Played 79% of Pittsburgh's offensive snaps Sunday against the Patriots. He'd only been at 46 and 58, dude. Weeks 1 and 2. So it's going up. He's taking over that job. It's pretty much all going to be him now. I think Kenneth Gainwell actually got a touchdown, if I remember correctly. He's now seen running back rush shares of 70 and 82% over his last 2 games. And those are the highest marks of his career, dude. He has yet to surpass 50 rushing yards and gets Minnesota next week and then a bye. So you might be able to wait until after Minnesota because he's not going to get any rushing yards again because Minnesota is actually playing really well right now. And then you have the bye. So you might want to trade for him after next week. But if you can get Jaylen Warren, I would.
Yeah, this guy was actually one of my primary running backs I was talking about on my offensive line, defensive line matchup report. He actually had a bad matchup when it came to the running game against the Patriots, if you could believe that. So I'm sitting here, I was saying he's not going to do well on the ground, but he's the goal line back, and he's going to get your receptions. He got the receptions. Unfortunately, he was stuffed at the goal line like a couple of times, but expect that to be better. The Patriots' run defense, like the average yards before contact, is actually pretty good, and the Steelers' offensive line and offensive line is kind of trash. But Jaylen Warren's previous career high was 18 touches. So he had 23 touches for the Pittsburgh Steelers in week 3, and that equaled out to 78% snap rate, 18 of 22 running back rush attempts, and he had 63% route run and 5 catches on 6 targets. That's RB15 in week 3, and now he's RB14 on the year.
Jeez.
And one last thing, just real quick, like in coach speak, someone asked Mike Tomlin on whether Jaylen Warren can handle a heavier load, and he said, "I'm certain he can. I see no reason why he can't."
He's Samoan, dog. I mean, I just got done watching episode 9 of Chief of War. Those fools, they walk on volcanoes. What'd you say?
And Warren was on it?
No, but Samoan people, they're tough as shit.
Oh, I did not know he was Samoan.
Yeah, I didn't know either. And then I saw some like short with an interview with him. Anyways,
I could picture Jaylen Warren coming out as like a kamikaze guy, like
dude,
in a huge battle. Just dodging everybody with a spear.
Well, they were using guns on this one. Spoiler alert! Like you didn't watch that.
Yeah.
It's like for episode 1. Anyways, so hey, Jaylen Warren, go get him. Running backs right now, landscape is terrible. So get what you can as far as workhorse running backs. All right, Jason. Then I just have some that I wrote down real fast, and I did not have the time to go through in detail, and I still had some question marks about it. Deebo Samuel only 4 fantasy points, Jason, with Marcus Mariota. Are you trying? He's been amazing with Jaden Daniels. Would you try to trade for Deebo? Because we were talking about avoiding Deebo. He's been a bust forever for me. But right now, this year, Jason, I'm thinking I might try to trade for Deebo after this week.
Yeah, I mean, I talked about this in the offseason. It's like there's a difference from getting Deebo Samuel in the 4th round than in the 10th round, right? And this year he went in the 9th and 10th round. I'm like, I kind of like that. They did not need him this week or last week. They did not need him in week 3. They blew out the Raiders. It's not like they had to play from behind. The running game and the defense did their job. That they didn't need him. So yeah, I think he's somebody that you could try to get buy low this week.
Then Travis Hunter, Jason, only 3 fantasy points. His route participation was not great after week 1. Like he peaked in week 1 pretty much. And Parker Washington's out here getting 11 targets, dog. So, yeah, I would probably sell Travis Hunter. I didn't want to draft him because of the uncertainty, of how much he was going to play wide receiver. And now you got this other slot wide receiver getting 11 targets. I'd probably not take him, Jason. I'd probably sell Travis Hunter.
Yeah, I had some. Oh, here we go. So Trevor Lawrence, when targeting Travis Hunter and BTJ, 17 out of 40. That's 42.5%. Only 191 yards. That's 4.7 yards per attempt and a 0.3 touchdown to INT ratio. Not good.
Right.
It's not good coming from your quarterback trying to target this guy.
And then, yeah, right. And then Tyler Warren, Jason, came into the week injured, only 6 fantasy points. I still believe he's going to be he's a top 3 tight end play when he's healthy. And that offense looks insane, Jason. Play action and all kinds of crazy shit. I would get Tyler Warren if I could after this week.
Yeah, I don't even think it had anything to do with him being injured. I think they controlled that game from the start.
I know.
And they blew them out. It's not like they had to go and do a crazy amount of passing attempts or anything like that. No, I think he was fine. They just didn't need him. Jonathan Taylor dominated. Michael Pittman dominated. The team dominated. That was basically it.
And then Josh Jacobs, I'm not going to really talk about that. 12 fantasy points, but those owners don't care. Quinshon Judkins, I did say to trade for him last week, Jason. He was a buy for me. Again, 16 fantasy points in that tough game. Dude, if I wish I could, I tried to trade so much for him. Nick Chubb plus. Nobody was biting. So, again, try to trade for Quinshon Judkins because this fool is going to be a top 5 running back, probably.
Yeah, and he was also on my offensive line, defensive line report because of just how the Packers defensive line is. And I was like, do not start, any Browns running back. And then he just went out there and just tore that data to shreds. I'm like, dude, I'm pretty impressed with the Browns offensive line, and I'm impressed with his running skills.
Dude,
and
as long as
his touchdown was a goal line carry too, from I think 2 or 3 yards out. So he's going to be the guy. If you have him, play him.
If you got him, smoke him. Yeah, dude, it sucks. I thought I got the better running back from Ohio State or whatever. Looks like it was Quinshon Judkins. Bucky Irving looks amazing, and he still has not blown up yet. Every time I watch him, I'm like, oh my God, dude, is he going to score a touchdown? So only 13 fantasy points. Again, if you could try to get him, running backs right now are hard to come by. So if you can pry them away early, I would. And then Tucker Kraft, Jason, injured, right? Ran around on 71% of Jordan Love's dropbacks against the Browns. He was at 78 and 82%. So hey, dude, if you want to try to trade for Tucker Kraft, this is the game to do that. And now we've got onto the holds. Jason, you ready for the holds?
No, I got 2 buys. Two buys.
Dude, I'm so sorry. Give it to me.
It's okay. Let's go out there and buy Trey Benson, please.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
After Connor left the game, Benson has 75% carry share and the only goal line touch and a 6.7 target share. 87% snaps, 71% attempts, 50% routes. Has a 13% target share on the season. He's a dual threat back, averaging 3.5 targets per game. He is 7th in yards after contact, and his missed tackles forced per attempt is at an elite status of 0.33. He has been very efficient as a backup runner, ranking 1st in yards created per touch. His average carries a game is only 7. Well, that is going to hit double digits faux show, and he'll likely be the goal line back as well. If you can, I'm accepting trade offers. Why are you laughing, dog?
I'm writing a bunch of stupid stuff about Trey Benson and James Conner. Anyways, you should check it out. It's funny.
You're writing?
Yeah, I put farewell, James Conner. Good night.
That shit. Dude, we forgot to do trade calculators again. God dang it.
Oh my God, we did. Good night, my sweet prince.
I got one more. And Tyler, this is actually just a piggyback from your week 1 buy. It's like Omarion Hampton, and this is pretty obvious. He had an encouraging 79% snap rate. His 76% red zone snap rate was 11th best in the league. He had 24.9 fantasy points, 79% of the snaps, 70% attempts, 6% routes, 15% target share. Najee Harris out for the season. This definitely upgrades Hampton to borderline RB1 territory. The Chargers don't have a challenger in the backfield to challenge this guy for RB1. And the Chargers are winning and putting up games. Now he has no choice but to mature as RB1 role and kick ass. And he did this from my bench this week.
I started him in the dynasty, I'm pretty sure. It's because I had no other option. There's like 18. I got to start so many people in that league.
You did good. You did good.
I done good. At least I got a piece of Omarion. All right, let's go to the holds real fast, Jason. I am not sure what you can get from Ladd McConkey. He only scored 8 fantasy points. He's been the 3rd wide receiver on this team for 3 weeks in a row. So I don't know how you're going to sell him. I don't know what you're going to do to get your value back. So I guess I would hold, and he is one of the biggest busts so far. As soon as, like I said, I told you not to draft him. I was going to draft him every single 2nd or 3rd round, and then they got Keenan Allen. So anyways, Jason, Ladd McConkey, hold, sell, buy. What are you thinking?
Well, there was a moment in that game against the Broncos where I was like, okay, this is what we wanted from Ladd McConkey, and then he just kind of went silent for the rest of the game. And what I was looking at, I can't find the information right now, but he's actually 3rd on the team when it comes to target share. I mean, they're all very close between him, Keenan Allen, and Quentin Johnston, but he's the only one not catching touchdowns. So I think probably trade. I think trade him.
Yeah, dude, I don't think it's going to get any better. So, and then Saquon Barkley, 8 fantasy points. He's had some tough matchups, and it has been disappointing. He's not had 100 yards, I'm pretty sure. So Saquon Barkley, to me, I'm holding because, dude, I would be targeting the hell out of I'd be sending you all kinds of crazy 2-for-1. Brian Thomas Jr. plus Nick Chubb for Saquon Barkley. I mean, it's something better than that. Oh, man, J.K. Dobbins and BTJ, Jason, for Saquon Barkley. Am I getting Saquon Barkley?
Shoot. You could.
I see.
Yeah, he's becoming more like touchdown dependent, huh? Well, they lost Lane Johnson last week as well.
There you go. All right, so hold on Saquon. If you can try to get him, but if you own him, you better hold his ass because you're not getting shit. Drake London, Jason, 10 fantasy points. He was more, I thought he was going to be hyper targeted. It was more diaper targeted. I mean, he had like 8 targets, so that's pretty good. Jason, Michael Penix Jr., my boy, is looking god awful, dude. So Drake London, can you get, he's almost in like Brian Thomas Jr. I mean, I would trade Brian Thomas Jr. for Drake London, but we're looking down the barrel of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so Michael Penix right now is minus 0.047 EPA per play, which is 28 out of 38 quarterbacks. 43.1% success rate. That's 26 overall, and a minus 8.6 completion percentage over expected. That's 32nd. That's the worst in the league. But we hold on. Did you hear what the Falcons did about an hour or two ago? They fired their wide receiver coach, and they just promoted somebody else.
We can't fire Drake London. Let's fire his coach.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
we can't fire Michael Penix.
We've seen Drake London do well, so it's like trying to figure out what is it the scheme? What is going on? It's an odd question.
The scheme supported the scheme supported Cooper Kupp in his glory days. So it's just it's a Michael Penix issue. It's Trevor Lawrence issue. You know what I'm saying? Like, so Michael Penix, if Kirk Cousins comes in, he'll save the day. I know, but he already said, the coach is like, he's not starting ever again, dude. So at least here. And then Carson Wentz did well. So, dude, I'm telling you. So I don't know what's going to happen there. Then lastly, last person on this list, Jason, Alvin Kamara, only 6 fantasy points. Kamara has a 9% target share, like I guess 3.3 per game. His prior low for a season was 18%, so 5.1 targets per game. So he's down 2 targets a game with a way worse offense, dude. I mean, this is bad. He made a living, Jason, on PPR, just catching tons of balls, and he's not doing that right now. So Alvin Kamara is usually killing it for the last 3 years. He's like amazing in the first half of the season, Jason, and then falls off a cliff. Right now, he needs the opposite to happen to even be starting.
And you know what I watched that game, and what I saw a lot of, where I was like, Alvin Kamara might be a sell, is how much I saw Kendrick Miller.
Kendrick Miller, and Kendrick Miller's a good runner.
Yeah, and he got a lot of carries, or more than usual. That might be a new trend there in New Orleans. Nolans.
All right, here, I'm going to go with this. I'm going to stop sharing. Boop. All right, people, if you got some... What's up?
Just real quick. I was saying Kamara is now the second option on that Saints team, where in the past he was the first.
Jason, you got Chris Olave. I didn't want any part of Chris Olave, but if somebody gets 15 targets a game, sign me up. I don't care. It's like the Drake London treatment, man. Just target him 15 times a game. All right, man. Hey, that is the show. If you have any players that you're thinking about trading or any trades that you were doing, all right, please comment down below. We'll chime in. Hopefully we earned a thumbs up. Hopefully we earned a subscription. Jason, this show needs help again, man. On our knees, saying prayers in the street lights. Please send us out.
We got our famous wide receiver quarterback matchup coming out Wednesday. Make sure to check that video. Make sure to check that video if you want to win your league this week. I can't talk. Anyway. And then we got a Vegas knows all. Vegas answers the questions that you want to know about. I'll talk to you in that video. Deuces.
I'm going to lose. I'm going to say Brown has 4 targets. They figured it out. No! 4 receptions. This is Fantasy Red Zone. We appreciate you.